Hi, I'm the director for our New Zealand registered not-for-profit charitable educational trust called Common Knowledge, and we hold all of the birthing better skills that hundreds of fathers and mothers developed in the early 1970s in the US, and they asked me to carry it forward. As I said before, it seemed like a good idea. Now, 50 years later, it's problematic because we haven't switched to a skills-based approach to childbirth, and it really seems crazy. I mean, pregnancy and childbirth are normal life events. That's true. So is being horny. So is being hungry. But we have thousands of cookbooks, skills about how to cook. And we have hundreds of books about how to be a good lover. And we have hundreds of books about the pros and cons of medical interventions and how to make birth plans, and very little about the skills that are so necessary to do the activity of birthing our baby. And so for the past 50 years, and then from the 90s onwards, our trust has been advocating growing a skilled birthing population for all families without exception. And why is that? Because 100% of pregnant women will give birth. And if you are a birth coach, if you're a man, woman, anybody related to this woman who is going to be at the birth, you need skills. The complete course is full of the skills that fathers and mothers developed. We haven't been able to figure out these skills were developed by mothers, these skills were developed by fathers, and we haven't figured out a way to say, here, pregnant women, birthing women use these skills, here, fathers or others do these things. That's really hard to do, isn't it? We have skills like creating space in the pelvis. Well, if you're a man or a woman who's going to support this pregnant woman, that pregnant woman can do those skills on you, and you can feel how space is created in your body. We share the same body. We all blink, we all cough, we all tighten up our rectum. So when we do the hip lift, or the sit bone spread, or the sacral maneuver, or the pelvic clock, or any of these, or we learn about the 5 phases of contractions, and the 4 ways that humans breathe, and the variations, and how to find the best breathing, we all do the same thing. So we are learning together within our humanity for this activity that uniquely only women do with her baby. Right? You can't do the activity for her, but you are seeing and hearing how she is doing that activity. And don't think that a non-laboring cesarean is less of a birth. She still has emotions and feelings and excitements and fears. And on the way to the hospital being prepped and in the birth of this baby is when you use your skills, because that is the activity she is doing. So if there's a snowstorm, she's doing the activity. If your care providers don't get there that day, she's doing the activity. If she has things happening to her she doesn't like, she's doing that activity. And your job is to help her to cope. There are 2 elements of birth. 99% of the emphasis is on natural birth. We want women to achieve natural birth. We don't even know what that means. We don't know what the word natural means. It either means good, easy, good outcome, or it means anything that might happen. That's the reality, right? So 100% of women will naturally birth because that's how you get out of pregnancy, right? So, but the conversation really should have been about suffering, because that was the much larger issue. Women suffered in childbirth. And we want to stop the suffering. And from the 60s to the mid-70s, that's what happened in the United States when Lamaze was taught in every hospital. We reduced the suffering. But the focus of Lamaze and Bradley was on achieving the natural birth and pain-free labor, but we reduced the suffering. But that wasn't validated because that wasn't the stated goals. That was a mistake. And that led to things like the choice-based system, in which people said, cows and cats aren't taught to birth, women don't need to, we instinctively know how to birth. That's like saying we instinctively know how to be a good lover, or we instinctively know how to cook just because we're hungry. That's nonsense. And we should actually elevate childbirth because it's so infrequent, and it's a one-off, and it can't be replayed, and the memories last a lifetime. And when you as a birth coach help that woman not suffer, help her cope moment to moment, help her manage moment to moment the sensation she feels and what's happening to her around her, when she can work through those things, when she can handle them, when she can deal with those things, when she feels she's staying on top of this a dynamic experience, which is going to last a lifetime, and have this baby come out of her body. And when she feels more in control, you have done your job well. And that's why we developed this. This is one of our new courses. And so this is why I spoke to you, because I hold all of the skills that so many hundreds of fathers gave to me. When you look at the coupling of the complete skills to the birth coaching course, look at all of the body work. That was all developed by fathers because they see birth from the outside. When women have long labors, they labor, men know what the issue is. They can't get the object out of their body. So men go, okay, can't change the object, let's change the container. So all of the body work is there. When men hear women doing this or this, men know she ain't happy. When mama ain't happy, ain't no one happy. So when we worked on the breathing and found the 4 ways that humans breathe and the variations, and how, when we breathe in our nose or out of our mouth, instead of doing or we do, as a birth coach, you can model that breathing. She will follow you. Why will she follow you? She does not want to feel out of control. Fathers understood when asked a question, what happens if a woman gets out of control? How do you deal with a woman who's out of control? And men got it. Don't let her get there. Right? Don't let her get there. Don't let her get out of control. Women get out of control little by little by little by little when they're birthing. Okay? And they do that by the change in how they look and how they sound. So this birth skills course is for you if you're going to be a birth coach. We use the word birth coach, proud, 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 because natural birth movement says, shouldn't tell women what to do. Women instinctively know how to birth. Well, first of all, no, they don't. None of us do. It happens to us. We can't avoid it. Doesn't mean we know how. Okay, it happens to us. However, coaching is not telling women what to do. Coaching is helping people do what they have to do better, more effectively. Okay? When we help a woman in labor, we are helping her help herself. That's what a birth coach is. When we use birth support and we say that fathers should support women's choices, you are in a pickle. First of all, women don't know. Second of all, there's no way to know what your birth's going to be like. Babies don't come to plan. And when you have a list of 5 things, which one's important? If you have a list of 10 things, how does anybody know? If you have a list of 50 things, it becomes even vaguer. And then what happens? Things unfold as they unfold. Unfolding means she's doing the work. That means your skills become the foundation, whether her choices unfold the way she wants, whether she lacks choices, or whether choices change. It's in activity. Help her do the activity. I've ranted and raved now. So get this, give it to the person you know who's going to help a woman birth, couple with her complete skills. It isn't going to work just on its own. We made it separately so we could have a voice directly for the people who are the birth coaches. And one more last thing, right? Because one more last thing's always on my mind. What's the role of a doula? I'm old, so doulas didn't exist in the early 70s when these skills were developing. Fathers were the birth coaches. When the natural movement began to call them birth support, doulas began to become the birth coaches. It's fine to have a doula. It's fine to have other people. Share the skills, teach them the skills, that's fine. However, who do you want as your primary coach? The person who's going to be in the baby's life. Because you want them to feel skilled, you want them to feel competent, and you want them to help raise this child. And pregnancy and childbirth are the transition from becoming to being a mother or a father. And when we are skilled through the activity of birthing this baby, and when the person with us is skilled to help us, then we move into parenting with more confidence. Okay, honest to God, I'm finished. See you later.